Hi, this is Rachel Israel with STEM News and Global World Report. We have breaking news that will have a huge impact on the global scene in the very near future. Let's take a look at what's going on around the world.
Black teenagers in Ontario are going missing, and it's really scary. The frequency of these disappearances is alarming, and the community is on edge. The numbers are shocking. Some people think disappearances have gone up by more than 30% just this past year. This surge has left families and friends in a state of constant worry and fear. These are our kids, our neighbors, our friends, and they're just vanishing. The impact on the community is profound, leaving a void that can't be easily filled. Where are they going? Why aren't we doing more to find them? The lack of answers is frustrating and heartbreaking for everyone involved. This isn't just a number. It's a huge problem. Each missing person represents a life interrupted, a family torn apart. It's a story we keep hearing again and again in our communities. The repetition of these tragedies is a call to action. Jamal Thompson, 16, disappeared last July. His family is still searching for answers, holding on to hope. Aisha Brown, only 17, went missing in September. Her friends and family are desperate for any information. Their families are left with unbearable questions, struggling to understand what happened and why. And their pleas for help seem to disappear in a system that often fails to protect those who need it most. The community demands more action, more resources, and more answers. The disappearance of Black teenagers in Ontario is a hidden crisis. It reminds us of the deep unfairness that still exists in our society. The families of these missing children often feel like no one is listening, like their pain doesn't matter. They have to deal with a system that seems indifferent to their suffering, a system that often sees their children as troublemakers, not victims. This isn't just about individual cases. It's about a pattern of neglect and apathy, a pattern that makes it seem like some lives matter less than others. This is about racism built into the system, about unconscious bias, about a society that hasn't faced its own deep-seated prejudices. There are many complicated reasons why these disappearances are happening. But one thing is clear: the system is failing Black youth. Racism in the system plays a big part. Racial profiling by police, not enough resources put into investigating these cases, and economic disparities all contribute to the disproportionate number of missing Black teens. There are also worries about how law enforcement handles these cases. Critics argue that investigations are often slow and inadequate, lacking the urgency and resources dedicated to cases involving other demographics. This difference in treatment creates distrust between communities and the very institutions that are supposed to serve and protect them. Community response and resilience. Despite these obstacles, communities are fighting back with unwavering determination and solidarity. Local organizations are working tirelessly to support families, raise awareness, and demand justice for missing Black youth. They are the backbone of the community's response. They organize searches, provide emotional support to families, and challenge systemic inequities that have long been ignored. However, these organizations are often underfunded and overwhelmed, struggling to fill the gaps left by a system that has failed to protect these vulnerable youth. The lack of resources is a constant battle. One mother, Maria Thompson, whose son Jamal vanished months ago, shared her anguish. "It's been months, and we still have no answers. The pain is unbearable. We feel like our cries for help are falling on deaf ears. The system seems indifferent to our suffering." Her story, like so many others, highlights the urgent need for change, for a system that prioritizes the lives and well-being of all children, regardless of race or background. The call for justice grows louder each day. Breaking the silence. This is a call to action, a plea for awareness, and a demand for justice. The disappearance of Black teenagers in Ontario is a stain on our collective conscience. These are not isolated incidents, but part of a troubling pattern that has persisted for far too long. It's a stark reminder of the work we still need to do to create a fair and just society for everyone. We must confront these injustices head-on and refuse to be complacent. This isn't just a Black issue. It's a societal issue that demands our attention and action. Every community, every individual, has a role to play in this fight for justice. We cannot allow these disappearances to continue unnoticed and unaddressed. The silence surrounding these tragedies is deafening and unacceptable. We must listen to the stories of affected families, amplify their voices, and ensure their pain is acknowledged, and hold those in power accountable. Our leaders must be pressured to take meaningful action. We must demand better from our institutions, from our communities, from ourselves. Change begins with each of us recognizing our responsibility. We must work together to dismantle the systems of oppression that allow these tragedies to occur. Unity and solidarity are our strongest tools. The time for silence is over. We must raise our voices louder than ever before. The time for action is now. Together we can make a difference and ensure a brighter future for all.
Join me as I dive deep into the mystery of whether black teens in Ontario are really disappearing and what we can do to shine a light on this issue. There's a growing concern in Ontario that black teenagers are vanishing into thin air, leaving families and communities devastated and searching for answers. The societal implications of this issue are far-reaching and urgent, demanding our attention and collective action. In recent years, the number of missing black teenagers in Ontario has been rising at an alarming rate. Just last month, 15-year-old Amara went missing in Toronto, sparking widespread anxiety and outrage on social media. Her story is just one of many, with disturbing patterns emerging in the way these cases are handled and reported. One common thread is the initial reluctance of authorities to take these cases seriously, often dismissing them as runaways or trivial incidents. This lack of urgency is compounded by the fact that many of these missing teenagers come from low-income neighborhoods, where access to resources and support is already limited. It's heartbreaking to think that their lives are being devalued simply because of their zip code or socioeconomic status. The community is left feeling powerless and frustrated, wondering why these children are being ignored and dismissed. As we delve deeper into this crisis, it becomes clear that systemic issues are at play. From racial profiling to inadequate policing, the factors contributing to these disappearances are complex and multifaceted. We need to acknowledge the historical and ongoing oppression that black communities face, and how this affects the way they interact with law enforcement and social services. At the heart of this issue are the systemic failures that allow these disappearances to occur in the first place. The lack of trust between law enforcement and the black community is a major obstacle, making it difficult for families to report missing persons and get the help they need. Furthermore, the criminal justice system often prioritizes punishment over rehabilitation, leading to a culture of fear and silence. We need to recognize that these disappearances are not just isolated incidents, but part of a broader pattern of systemic neglect and racism. The community's response to these crises is often hampered by limited resources and inadequate support, leaving families to navigate the complex and daunting task of finding their loved ones alone. I want to share a story with you that really drives home the emotional weight and urgency of this situation. Cheryl, a mother from Mississauga, shared with me her harrowing experience of searching for her 17-year-old son, who went missing last year. With tears streaming down her face, she recounted the sleepless nights, the endless searches, and the feelings of desperation and helplessness. Her story is a powerful reminder that behind every statistic is a family, a community, and a life that matters. These stories are not just numbers or statistics, they're about real people, with real hopes, dreams, and fears. They're about families who are left behind, searching for answers and begging for someone to listen. As we reflect on the stories and testimonies of those affected, we're reminded of the importance of addressing this issue head-on. In conclusion, it's crucial that we acknowledge the depth and complexity of this issue, and commit to working together to find solutions. We need to hold our institutions accountable, and demand better from our leaders and policymakers. Let's make a collective effort to shine a light on this issue, and ensure that no family has to suffer the agony of losing a loved one in silence. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this issue in the comments below. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're interested in learning more about community safety, check out our video on the importance of neighborhood watch programs.
Well, that's the news for tonight. Thank you so much for continually supporting our content. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and share this with your friends and family. I'm sure they would find it interesting as well. We're very excited to continue this journey with you. We thank you all for bringing certain stories to our attention, and for continually keeping us updated with certain events around the world.